First of all, I don't like airports. I don't hate them. I do hate the dentist though. That place is awful. Airports, not a huge fan. What's up guys? It is literally me. So yes, as you can see, I am back home in Hawaii, and the journey on how I got here is extremely long and complicated, and I felt like I need to share it on the internet. I will be switching back and forth between clips of me talking about it while it was happening, as well as me talking about it now, so bear with me. I will take it now to past me, and she will talk about what is currently happening, currently happening back then in the past. Yeah. Let's go. Originally, I had a plan to vlog my experience. Well, it's still the plan, but I wanted to talk about like my airport experience because I'm going to 4 airports. That's right, 4. So before this trip even started, I knew I was going to be doing multiple airports. Like, I knew I was going to be having these connecting flights. So I kind of already knew beforehand what I was getting into. I had different locations in my head. I thought I was going from where I am to Seattle, and then from Seattle to San Francisco to Hilo, and then from Hilo back home. That is not what I'm doing. I'm actually going from Seattle to Denver, Colorado, from Denver to Kona, and then from Kona to Honolulu. I was looking at the ticket for from where I'm leaving from to go to Seattle, and it says we depart at 5 a.m. Okay, that's early and fine. Whatever. But then it says I depart from Seattle at 5:30 a.m. So if I depart from here at 5 a.m. and then I'm going to Seattle at 5:30 a.m., you can see how this is kind of a problem. So the whole problem was the fact that I would be switching airlines as well as doing all of that. Now we deal with dogs. I'm just gonna talk over the dog. My parents were on one airline and my grandpa was on another. And my grandpa had saved me a ton of miles so that I could travel around and, for a cheaper cost. But the disadvantage to this was that my parents were not on the same airline as my grandpa, because the airline they chose was the only one that left my city that I was in for college. That was the first part of all of this, is the fact that I would have to be switching airlines, which ended up not being a huge problem because I was able to get my tickets and all that beforehand before I even got to the airport, because online makes life so much easier, so I don't have to deal with confusing check-in things. I also was traveling only with a carry-on, and it was only my backpack and a small carry-on luggage. As you can tell, I was very stressed and I was going through a lot of stuff at the moment because I had to call the airline. This was the airline that had all the trouble. This was the airline that I called like 5 times. Let's follow the whole time frame of what I had to be going through in terms of the time that this whole entire journey took. The total of the journey was about 24 hours, so I've been traveling for about 24 hours, which is... And this was the first time I was alone and like taking connecting flights by myself. So please, give me a lot of credit. I was able to survive all of this as well as talk to people on the phone, because I hate talking to people on the phone. It is 4:42 p.m. I'm leaving in about 11 hours? 11 hours, yeah. Okay, so at least I know I'll be able to make it to Seattle. I don't know where I'm going from there. I forced myself to go to sleep the day before, so I forced myself to go to sleep at like around 9. Then I woke up at 12:30 a.m. because my flight was at 5 a.m. and I had a cab to catch at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. I caught the cab and I was able to get to the airport. No problems there. Went through TSA. The TSA in the airport in my city is extremely small because I'm in a college town. It's not too much of a stressful thing to go through, which I'm so thankful for. From there, at 5 a.m. exactly, I left my college town and I arrived in Seattle at around 6 a.m. I had to spend a total of about 6-ish hours at the SeaTac airport.
I made it to Seattle, and I'm hoping that I can waste away these next 7 hours. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I can go and like do some writing, but we'll see what happens. I know I probably look like a mess, but you know, it's totally cool.
It was extremely painful, first of all, because I was already having anxiety for going on another plane because I knew I'd be going on 2 more planes because of the path that I was on. So when I first got there, I had been talking to one of my best friends, and she just said, walk to the gate really slowly. I really tried. I went to like a couple of like shops that were in the airport, and I tried to walk around, but I was feeling like really anxious and nervous for my flight. I knew which gate I was going to because it said on the ticket, but like it said it could change, so I was a little worried that I'd walk to a gate. But I ended up walking to the gate that was on the card anyway, the ticket anyway, because I just was like, you know what, let's just go with it, we'll roll with it, whatever happens. If it changes, I can just walk there. I have 6-ish hours to kill anyway. I walked to the airport, I got some cereal. I hardly ate any of my cereal because I was anxious. I sat around, I watched some anime. Fairy Tail final season, so good, highly recommend. I didn't do much, I kind of just hung around. My dad ended up calling me, and I was talking to him on the phone for about like an hour, and I felt a little bit more calm after that. So for the rest of the time I was reading / working on a story on my laptop, so I was pretty calm. I didn't sleep in the airport though. When I was doing that 6-hour layover thing, I wasn't sleeping because I didn't want my things to get stolen. Like, I strategically put a chair to block my luggage so that and I put a water bottle in it, so if someone tried to steal it, they would knock the water bottle down, which would alert me that something was going on, and they'd have to move the chair, and that would make a lot of noise and cause like a distraction. Not a distraction, but like people would pay attention. So clever thinking there. 1:25 p.m. I then boarded a plane to go to San Francisco. Oh, my carry-on bag, the little rolling kind, I had packed it so full that I had to like, you know that zipper that you make it so that it becomes like thicker? Yeah, so my carry-on was too thick. It was too thick to go on the plane, so it ended up being checked in as luggage. I was really concerned that the time that I would get to San Francisco was going to be giving me very little time to get to my next gate, which that gate would take me to home. I thought that the plane would arrive in San Francisco at 4:16, and we started boarding at 4:15, so I was like, well, I gotta run across the airport, find my gate wherever it is, because I didn't know my gate yet, and somehow get myself there on time so that I'm not missing. Thankfully, I was in group 3, so I had time, but I ended up arriving in San Francisco a little bit earlier. I arrived there like 15 minutes earlier than what was predicted on the ticket, so I actually was able to get to my gate at 4:15, only to hear that they were having maintenance issues with the plane, so they were like, oh, 15 minutes, you know, it's gonna be 15 minutes for us, and then everyone will get boarded onto the plane. That 15 minutes became an hour. So I was waiting on the ground, mind you, because there was no room. It was gonna be a full flight. I ended up getting the notification that we would be departing at 5:40. We were supposed to depart at like 4:30-ish, I think. So waited around, was on the ground. I was trying to eat a sandwich, but once again, anxiety. There was a dude sitting next to me that was like talking really loudly on FaceTime to his friend about weird things, and he was smoking in the airport, and I was like, wow, how is no one seeing this? So when we finally boarded the plane, I got on the plane, found my seat, perfect, fine. I was on a window seat, so fine with me. We were on there for a little while, and then they told us, we're just checking to make sure everything's okay, like to make sure that, you know, nothing happens on the plane while we're in the sky. We actually closed up and we left our place where we were. As we were coming out of it, they realized that there were still maintenance problems with the weather radar, so kind of important. So obviously they were gonna fix it. So we went back into our space, and we ended up waiting for like a couple hours in the plane. No, not a couple hours, I'm exaggerating. Maybe like an hour and a half in the plane, and we were just waiting there for them to, and I was tired, so I passed out, and when I woke up we were still there. By the way, I had very nice seatmates, thank goodness. I had like this guy who was sitting next to me, and he got the notification that we'd be leaving like in 40 minutes, which was a lie. We stayed there for a lot longer. And he showed it to me. I was like, oh yeah, no, I got the text already. He was super nice, so I'm very thankful. And the girl next to him was reading Crazy Rich Asians, so can't hate her. But there was a girl behind me who was, I could hear the pigeon in her voice, so I know that she was, you know, local. She must have been talking on the phone with her friend, and she was talking about this whole ordeal, and then I like overheard like conversations about how she wants to, like, her mom found her fake ID, but it's like an expensive fake ID, so she's gonna like go back and get the fake ID so her and her friend can go drinking. And I was like, okay. She said that she hoped that the plane would drop out of the sky. No. Why would you want the plane to drop out of the sky? I understand that all of this waiting is like, I hate this, but why would you want the plane to drop out of the sky? Do you not like your life? Yeah, I don't understand it either. She was talking to her friend about babies and stuff, and she said, babies are like a thing. Everyone wants one. Who? Who wants one? Who wants a child? Is this a trend? Is this a trend I don't know about? Everyone wants a child now these days? Like, is that a thing? She was talking about how she really wanted a kid, and from just from hearing her voice, she sounded around my age. Why would you want a child at this age? Especially if it sounded like she was coming from college. You want to have a child in college, so you're gonna be juggling your classes, a child, and I'm sure you have like a boyfriend or something, right? If you're talking about having a child, are babies a thing? Is that a trend now? Someone please tell me in the comments. While she was having that wonderful conversation behind me, I forced myself back into sleep, and the plane ended up leaving, and it took about 5 hours to get to Hawaii. We survived, and everyone was okay, and we didn't drop out of the sky just like that girl hoped. Why? Around 11:30 p.m. I finally hit Hawaii. I had to wait for my luggage, and that took a long time. I don't want to hate on this airline, but a lot of things went wrong. I'm kind of hesitant about doing this airline again. So are my parents. They don't want me going through all of this again, especially with that 6-hour layover, which wasn't even supposed to happen. But I was able to get home, and here I am. So yay! Wow, I can't believe that happened to me, and I can't believe that was my first experience coming home. I'm gonna have to do this again when I go back. So yes, traveling is absolutely crazy, but as long as you just listen to RM's mono playlist, just take deep breaths and not freak out, you'll be fine. You can always go to the desk or wherever your gate is and ask questions, because I'm sure they'd be super helpful and be able to answer all your questions. I didn't do that. I don't like talking to people. That's why I'm on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I give random content like this. And I do have some other videos I hope to pump out in December. Pump out, that sounds weird. I probably won't be posting any videos until after Christmas. So hope you guys have an awesome Christmas, happy holidays, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and I will see you guys in the next one.